Well, guys, I am very proud to say that today the person most deserving of an award for the Golden Ray accident was recognized as Captain Jonathan Tennant. He was a pilot aboard the Golden Ray, and he was awarded the Meritorious Public Service Award by the Coast Guard for his actions during that event. This guy saved the day, and I'm happy to see him finally get this award. His actions that day saved the lives of crew members on the Golden Ray and kept the port of Brunswick from dying and withering on the vine. For without his actions, the port of Brunswick would have been closed for years while we waited for the removal of the Golden Ray.
I will now read the Coast Guard Meritorious Public Service Award. Attention to citation. The commander of the Coast Guard 7th District takes great pleasure in presenting the Coast Guard Meritorious Public Service Award to Captain Jonathan K. Tennant, pilot for the Port of Brunswick, for his commendable actions resulting in the preservation of life and mitigation of environmental and economic impacts during the motor vessel Golden Ray capsizing and grounding in St.simons Sound, Georgia. On September 8, 2019, the Golden Ray, a 656-foot roll-on, roll-off vessel, vehicle carrier, lost stability and began to capsize as it made a turn during its outbound transit from the Port of Brunswick, placing the ship and 24 crew members in great peril. Captain Tennant, who was piloting the vessel, immediately took action to steer the vessel out of the channel by coordinating assistance from multiple harbor tugboats, displaying tremendous leadership during the critical initial stages as the vessel began to develop an increasingly severe list. He professionally managed the dynamic situation and expedited the evacuation of the vessel, only evacuating himself after seeing 19 crew members delivered to safety. His sound decision-making to position the Golden Ray outside of the navigable channel before it grounded prevented it from becoming completely submerged in deeper water, which would have greatly increased the likelihood of loss of life. In addition to manning the difficult technical rescue of the remaining crew members trapped inside the hull, his immediate actions significantly reduced the likelihood that pollution from the 4,100 vehicles and 380,000 gallons of heavy fuel oil on board would be released into the environment. His decisive actions ensured that the critical shipping lanes was not blocked, which would have resulted in severe impact on the local and regional economy. Captain Tennant's commitment to duty and dedication to the safety of others are most heartily commended and are in keeping with the highest traditions of public service.
Bruce Findig said, JT, they're going to have a Golden Ray presentation at the college, and you ought to just come to it. So I was totally blown away that any of this took place, and I just want to express my gratitude to Congressman Carter and Admiral Schofield and Captain De La Rosa and Commander Robinson for putting forth this effort. This looks like a tremendous undertaking. It's also pretty emotional to see those photographs of the shipwreck. I hadn't looked at it in a long time. And it's, I thought it would be fitting just to say a few words after receiving such an honor, being so unexpected, that it's very uncomfortable to receive an honor, an award. When I feel like I didn't do anything that any other pilot in our group would have done, and any state pilot in this nation would have stayed with a vessel in distress and served in whatever capacity he or she could. I would like to extend my personal gratitude to all of the Moran crews that moved expeditiously across the Sound when I was in peril. I have a unique perspective of anyone here. I'm the only survivor here, the only American that was on board. That's a horrible feeling to have your ship crash underneath you when you're in charge of her safe navigation and not understanding why. And it's much like being in a car wreck. It's a horrific feeling, but there were some wonderful feelings that took place, and that was when Cliff and Tommy and Skylar, all of you and James were able to get there and help stabilize the patient on the sandbar. It was also of great comfort, and much to my surprise, when I picked up my handheld radio on 1 watt, low watt transmission and reached out to the Coast Guard and simply said Sector Charleston. And some young watchstander at 1:30 on a Sunday morning picked up and said, this is Sector Charleston, and we started communicating. That was quite remarkable that I wasn't alone. Another American was answering the call, and of course I'm asking him to roll all assets and send the cavalry, and the cavalry did come. The local Coast Guard boats joined the DNR and CETO and pilot boats very quickly. And most comforting were the helicopters. When they arrived, I didn't get one, I got 2. It was nice. Saw their spotlights, and I felt their rotor wash, and I still, every time I hear the whine of a MH-65 Dolphin, my heart warms and I feel gratitude, and I know that they're going to save someone's lives. And I just appreciate the Coast Guard for their diligence and efforts to save us that night. I wish I had had time to prepare some remarks, because I feel like they're due to all of you for putting this together, and y'all certainly should be thanked for everything that you've done and do every day on the river. The one person I think we forgot to thank is our merciful Savior, who allowed that ship to capsize in relatively calm waters of a sound versus the ocean, in proximity of a sandbar versus deep water, where the helo crews could refuel near an airport nearby, and we have our Southeast Georgia Health Systems helo pad where the Coast Guard could land the birds to take people to the hospital. The weather that night, a lot of things were in our favor, and the best possible outcome occurred. I truly witnessed a miracle that 23 people survived, or 24 if you include me. No significant harm to the environment, and the port remained open. So I don't think it could have gone off any better than it did. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for your service to the port, and thank you for this award.
Now we see Captain Tennant here with Congressman Buddy Carter after the presentation of the award. And I think it's important to note that Captain Tennant didn't like being singled out for this award, but yet wanted to spread the accolades to all those that were involved in the process. And that, to me, is the mark of a true leader. Captain Tennant, just a great guy and an asset to this maritime community here in Brunswick.